Hey guys, it's Joe. I am speaking with three other group members right now. We're waiting for others to join in. This is going to be a short conference call regarding, well, partially regarding the video that was released this past week where individuals were basically attacking Judy Prochnow. So, guys, let's try to get into something here. Who wants to go first? Bring up whatever.
I don't mind bringing up first question. Why the Prochnow family are being constantly targeted? Why is that? That's nothing to do with the deaths of David Kamel and Rani. Eric Prochnow, what he does in his life, nothing to do with us, nothing to do with the case. Why do you think that there is this vendetta and this smear campaign against Judy and her family? What does everyone think?
I think it's because it's easy. It takes the heat off the fact that they've got no evidence that there was anything else to make it look like it was Judy being suspicious.
Because it's every little thing. You know, if Judy says it's cloudy, she can't. She's pulled up on that. Every little word that woman says is twisted against her. And I don't understand. You know, have a difference of opinion, fine, but to be constantly smearing her when you have absolutely no evidence. That's right. No evidence. No multiple blunt force trauma. Shall we talk about that?
Actually, you know, let me just throw this in there too, as far as the addressing this Judy and it. I believe that they're using Judy as a distraction for exactly that. They have no evidence, so they toss something up, and then, you know, as soon as it starts to go bad for them, or people start asking questions because they're doubting something, automatically, let's throw this at Judy. So it takes everybody's focus. Yeah, it takes everybody's focus off the subject, you know, and it goes right there.
I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but why is it so important to keep going over things that Judy said? Because it's got a private investigator on the case now, so surely you're paying that private investigator to investigate. So they're going to investigate everything in this case, and they'll come back with the answers. So there's no need for this smear campaign, because your investigator's going to come back with whatever they come back with, and that's that.
Well, I think that it is just a smear campaign. I listened to the video a couple of times, and I actually went and looked up the articles, especially the People magazine article that they kept throwing out there, stating that Judy made this claim and that claim in reference to the couch being here and over there. I cannot find one article where that was stated. I've gone through the comments. I cannot find it at all.
Well,
so I would love to see a rebuttal to this with proof that that's what she stated, because I can't seem to find it.
You know, Stephanie, I gotta ask you, because last night we were both looking at the People article. Did you find comments even on that article? Because I couldn't.
No, I couldn't find any on that article. I have gone through all of the videos where Judy had commented, and I still cannot find what they're talking about.
I do believe that the last occupants of 1051 actually did have their couch under the window.
My impression from the video was they were stating that Judy claimed the couch was under the window at the time or shortly after the murders of the Crowleys, which that was their statement, and then she changed it, and they were making it out to be that she was misleading deliberately in order to help cover something up. I cannot find those comments.
Can I let me just jump in here. Louise, you and I were talking about this as well. If you look at the pictures from the crime scene, from the, you know, when after the family was found, the bookcase is there. However, if you're looking and given Judy's height, the distance, and this, that, and the other thing, she's going to see something in front of that window, but you're not going to be able to tell what it is. Judy doesn't strike me to be some 6'2" person that's going to be peering over the window.
Exactly. You don't know what you're going to be looking into, do you? You just know that something's not quite right, and you're generally looking at. In fact, I'd go one further to say it's quite normal to look on the floor of a house if you've been trying to get someone's attention and you believe them to be home, because most people start thinking that maybe they've fallen or tripped or slipped out the bath or something. So when someone doesn't answer the door, people do start thinking, oh,
Judy went specifically to look at the floor because Colin told her he saw mannequins laying on the floor. So she would have had no reason to gone and started looking up and around when the item that was in question was on the floor.
Catherine specifically says that she thinks Judy's information was fake because nobody just looks at the floor, they look at the walls first. So Judy should have seen the writing on the wall.
Well, this is something else as well, and I gotta tell you, since we're talking, I mean, I think we're all in agreement on this part. Judy and Colin are eyewitnesses, okay? Not to the actual homicide, but the finding of the bodies, correct?
Correct.
They're the only ones.
Okay, so
That's
how many?
Sheila. They are the only ones.
Right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna reference a January 1st, 2010 article from American Scientific. I'm also gonna go into an article from 2017 by T.D. Albright, stating that eyewitnesses fail quite often, especially in court cases, because they either can't remember accurately what they're seeing, or they think they've seen stuff that they haven't. A great deal of that is because they see this stuff and it's like we gotta admit the Crowleys and what somebody saw, Judy, Colin, the police, that had to be horrible to see. So your mind is gonna actually start to try to block what you're seeing. It's common. It happens.
Yeah, it does. They've proven time and time again that eyewitness testimony is just not reliable.
Because you're trying to process what you're seeing, your emotions are then going to start seeping in. You're trying to battle common sense, but you're going into shock because that is not something that you would expect to see or to that.
Your brain can get the information, isn't it? This is the thing. They were big on saying that when Judy made the call, it didn't sound authentic, that had they made the call, it would have been a lot more factual and less emotional and blah, blah, blah. I seem to be blaming her for speculating, saying about the hands, etc., whereas other people would have stuck to more basic information.
I want to throw this out there too. This has to do with the eyewitness testimony, as well as the fact that, you know how they keep bringing up, David's guilt or innocent. So I want to bring that up because I'm reading, and this is from something from the Innocence Project. Now, I don't know if you guys know what the Innocence Project is, but it has to deal with people who have been wrongly convicted. They go in later on. Okay. Eyewitness testimony can play a big part in criminal court cases. Whether or not a person is convicted of a crime can come down to the reliability of an eyewitness and how confidently he or she conveys the testimony to a jury. The problem is these eyewitness accounts are not always accurate. The Innocent Project is a nonprofit team of attorneys and law students that re-examines questionable murder convictions with the hope of using DNA evidence to overturn the sentences of defendants who've been wrongfully convicted. In the first 130 cases the Innocent Project overturned, okay, so that means they overturned these convictions. 130 convictions were wrong. Eyewitness testimony played a part in 78%. That's over half of the convictions. Right, well, about 2/3, yeah. And I'm sorry to say this, and I don't want to be derogatory, toward Judy and Colin, but I mean, they were in their 60s when this happened, and it literally says, another test has proven the eyewitnesses aren't as reliable as they claim to be, especially when those witnesses are older than age 60. Now, this is a study. This is an actual scientific study showing this, and that was by Charles Bryant. and he is involved with the Innocence Project.
Fine.
So I mean,
Statistics and things, fact,
right,
research.
right. This is an opinion, by the way. This is fact.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think Judy's an easy target too, because she does when she hears that she's being brought into something, she feels the need, and I would too, feel the need. You're being attacked. You want to set the record straight, and that's what she's trying to do. But the other thing we need to say too, and Stephanie, I know you dug into this case. I can say, and I think we'll all agree on this. I mean, if we do, great. If we don't, great. A lot of times, what'll happen is they will call, on Judy to, oh, let's ask Judy, and then Judy will actually answer them, and then they will go in and they'll pick and choose what they want to use, and then they delete a whole bunch of the comments, or they delete everything and say, oh, it looks like Judy doesn't have to say anything about this.
Right.
Delete her and block her.
Right,
and
yeah,
stop
block her.
any way that she can possibly have her say. Block her YouTube comments.
Well, see if they block the YouTube
Take
comments.
away her voice. And then start preaching that you're open to discussions from people with different opinions.
Well, that's
Right
it.
now, when I was in the other group, obviously it's very anti-Judy.
Mhm.
And I was kind of on that bandwagon. I'm like, oh, she's just, a bad person. When I came over to this group, I was shocked at how nice she's sweet. She's got nothing to hide, and you can then see just how twisted it has become over there. And they do exactly what you just said, Joe. They will take her stuff out of context. They will twist and use just what they need to make it look their way.
Well, that's exactly it. It's not just Judy either. I mean, I was talking to somebody else today regarding even the 911 call to the dispatcher, and they came out, and obviously everybody here knows on January 17th of this year, the 4th anniversary of finding the Crowley family, there was a video that was released as well as a post stating that the police were dispatched to the residence on a murder-suicide. And even this recent video states, oh yeah, they went there murder-suicide. The dispatchers were told murder-suicide. The dispatchers were sitting at Apple Valley Police Department. They dispatched to the scene for the report of possibly 3 bodies on the floor and a possible gun. That was what they were dispatched at. Murder-suicide was not mentioned during that dispatch. And what they do is they take a sliver of truth. The police were dispatched to Ramsdale, and they include the audio, the raw audio. But if you listen to that very raw audio, they never mention it. And on top of that, they bring up how this 2-hour window, and that the police were going with this murder-suicide theory. They may have been thinking murder-suicide, but the family was found the 17th. The press release on the 17th stated that it was a 3 suspicious deaths. The 18th, the next day, was when the autopsies were taking place, 8:30 in the morning, I think, to like almost noon. And so that next day, the autopsies were done after the medical examiner said, hey, this looks like a murder-suicide. That, on the 19th, is when the police released the updated press release calling it a murder-suicide. Now, it should also be put out there that even though the police were working a murder-suicide theory, we all know that the investigation, the actual investigation, went on for just about a year. And while they were saying it was a murder-suicide, they were still looking at everything. If they were so clear-cut, this is a murder-suicide, this is what we're going to say, boom, 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 they wouldn't have bothered with testing. They wouldn't have bothered with DNA. I mean, they had it might not have been the most perfect investigation, but it was an investigation nonetheless. There were hundreds of man-hours on this. There were thousands and thousands of dollars spent on testing And it was to come up with conclusive evidence that this is what occurred. And that's what they came out with.
We have to remember also that we aren't privy to all of the details, all of the exhibits, photographs, etc., statements from relatives and friends. You know, there could well be other things that we're not aware of.
Right, exactly. They didn't release everything.
Exactly.
And we don't have any right to that information either. You know, it's personal information, it's family, it's to do with a sensitive topic. You know, it maybe shouldn't be in the public domain.
Exactly. People are curious and people want to understand how such situation was able to unfold and end in tragedy. You know, but it's human nature to want to know why. But
I just think this witch hunting
you have to
thing-
think of dignity of people.
But here's the thing, you know, Louise, you're bringing up a very valid point. People may want to know what happened. People may want to know why it happened. Okay, but in reality, there are very few people that have the right to know or have the right to demand an explanation, and those people are related to the families, the Crowleys and the alums, the friends, okay, and the police or law enforcement in general. That's it. Somebody who
That is
never
true.
Exactly.
somebody who never met these people they don't have the right.
No, they don't. Even though they think they do.
Well, that's the problem. They think they have a right, okay? You don't. Freedom of information has its limits. And if somebody would take the time and look and read the statutes, state statutes, it doesn't matter what state, it doesn't matter if you're looking at federal, okay? There are limitations. You can't get things that are, you know, you can't get a police officer's home address unless certain criteria is met. I mean, that's just one example. And I mean, there's something that I would throw out there, but that'll play right into this whole thing again. And I don't even want to go there. I mean, there's no national security issue here. But that's just another thing that can say, hey, you know what? You put in an FOI request, well, we're not going to give you this. And Minnesota's Freedom of Information Act, where it pertains to criminal investigations and it's specifically murder investigations, says that if what they release to you on a closed case, they have to release certain information to you. However, if a person is going to be a normal person, is going to be taken back by what they see, you know, for shock value, they don't have to release that to you. So that's probably why the actual photo of the family was redacted in the first place.
Yeah, I would say.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
do
we've
too.
got the, what was it, the bullet point, the so-called bullet point of the 911 call, the standard of, you know, because apparently there's 911 call critiques out there who decide what's the right way and the wrong way and what's too much information, you know, which it's kind of patronising really to think that a dispatch person would just parrot whatever they were being told by whoever and then basing their decision off that. The way I see it is as soon as they're told that there's 3 dead bodies, all they know is they need to send the police because they're going to need to do an investigation and the police will decide what else is needed from there on. It's quite simple.
Now, my sister is actually a 911 dispatcher. We frequently discuss the calls, and from the funny ones to the ones that are just truly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's been through the school, she's certified, she can work anywhere in the United States, she has a valid license. And this is her current position. So
Yeah.
I showed her the 911 call, the transcript.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she said her opinion was Judy was panicked when she made that call. Colin was panicked, but he was more already in shock with just
Yeah.
very limited
Yep.
information. Judy was
Agreed.
kind of, her brain was going a million miles a minute.
Mm-hmm.
She's just throwing all of this information that she has that she thinks they might need. And
Yeah.
you can tell that very suddenly it hit her And right in the middle of a sentence, she says, "I think I need to throw up."
Yeah, and you can
That's
almost
when
hear
it hit
her wrecked almost. They even type in like
Right.
the
So to judge her based on a very physical reaction in borderline hysteria, I just don't think is fair. So I don't think it would be fair for any of us to cast any judgment on her.
exactly.
No,
And the point was, she was trying to do the best that she knew. She was trying to give information that she thought would be helpful.
right. She thought
And
she was
as-
giving what she thought was pertinent information.
Yes, and as a 911 dispatcher, though, just exactly as was just said, that is her, like my sister, you have to sort the information and only give what they need right there.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
need to know there's 3 bodies, there's a gun, boom.
and the dog.
Police, right. So that's her job, to pick that out.
And that's what
Yeah.
that's what these dispatchers did as well. This dispatcher did as well. They didn't include. They keep harping on the fact of they dispatched this as a murder-suicide. They did not dispatch this as a murder-suicide.
No.
In fact, Louise, we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah,
When emergency services, the police department, was dispatched to that home, they dispatched a paramedic unit to stage. And for those people who are listening and don't understand what that means, what that
get
means
Catherine
is,
to explain it because
Yeah.
she knows all about it.
oh my God. Anyways, what staging is that the unit does not go directly to the location. They park nearby until the police department gets on the radio, advises their dispatch that it is clear, it is safe for the emergency medical
They're
service
not
to-
needed.
Right. Well, yeah, or they're not needed. In most cases, though, in a homicide or a murder-suicide, they're not going to be needed. They're going to get cleared. Okay, but in some type of a case, say a barricade situation, there's this thing, and all EMTs and all medics are trained to this. It's not a protocol. It's a standard. Okay, it's called scene safety. Do not go into the scene unless the scene is safe. Even when you're getting tested to get your certification, the first thing you're supposed to say to the testers is, "I'm here. Is the scene safe? I have my gloves on for my PPE on, which is personal protective equipment." Those are the first 2 things that that have to come out of your mouth, or you're gonna fail. So, scene safety, you're supposed to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And like I said, they dispatched the medic unit to the scene and they were told to stage. So if they knew this was a murder suicide, that medic unit would have never left the station.
Good point.
Exactly. And you don't hear on that dispatch anything about, well, the neighbour said that this is there, and the neighbour said that this is there,
Yep.
and so I guess we'll just send this out because that's what the neighbour said.
And since we're also bringing up stuff about the dispatch and when the police were there and everything else that get brought up. The first one, when Tupi was coming over and Judy said, "You might want to stay back."
Yeah.
You already have Judy and her husband who just saw what they saw. I don't think she was taking control of the scene. I personally think she was like, "You don't want to see what I just saw." That's what I think that was. So that's the first
I
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
That's the first
It's not
thing.
something after seeing that you would have wanted everybody else to see. That's not something that you're like, "Hey, come look at this."
Right. And
No.
then the other thing, as far as Judy did not know their phone number, but Tupi did. I'm glad that they decided to point out the fact that Tupi tried to call David and Kamel's cell phones from her cell phone. The reason being is, you guys all have cell phones. Do you remember everybody's number off the top of your head, especially your neighbors?
No.
You usually go into your phone. I do it with my kids. Go into their phone, look up my kid, boop, hit send. There's no
Yeah.
number. You just look at the name.
Right.
Did Judy whip out her phone? Was Colin made the call from inside his house apparently. This is what I'm saying. And one thing we want to throw out there too, Stephanie, I don't know if you know this. Sheila, I'm pretty sure you know this. And Louise, I know you do. As far as exchanging phone numbers, we are 100% aware and actually have proof that people knew each other's phone numbers. So,
We do.
you know, I mean, if people would look hard enough, they'd find it.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it? There seems to be the lack of looking. It's just simply upload and click post without checking any facts and getting any background information to verify anything.
Well, everybody is told, and I've done this myself, and said, look at everything. See, that's the problem. Somebody's either lazy or they're taking things at face value.
Or just plain stupid. Sorry, but some of these things are plain stupidity, like your identity, for goodness sake.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, it's
It's definitely out of control. I mean, she has been accused of killing them in a satanic ritual. She has been accused of killing them in her garage with her son.
Yep.
They have been accused of covering it up. They've been accused of...
They tortured them in the house, they tortured them outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, this is just insanity at this point. It has gotten so ridiculous that there's not even a valid point left to it.
No, there's not.
It's a crime to go and see your parents at Christmas, because that means you're involved in a cover-up or something. Apparently, that's what Eric's experience is. He went to spend Christmas with his mum and dad and his kids and the family, but no, that's not a valid reason for being in Minnesota.
Right.
You're up to no good, and you should be questioned because you've had something to do with the goings-on of next door who you've never even met.
I'm very close to my neighbors, obviously, with, my rescue and the horses running everywhere and this and that. Occasionally, people get out and they're not where they should be.
Yep.
So all of my neighbors have my number. They all know me. They all know my animals that meander. And I can honestly tell you, though, when things are quiet at home, I couldn't tell you day to day what my neighbors are doing or if they were. I just don't keep tabs that closely on them.
Right.
No.
When I'm out of town, I tell them I'm, out of town. I appreciate it. Could you keep an eye on the place? If you see anybody strange or something, give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is more normal than to constantly be monitoring what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Well, and also your neighbors are going to know somewhat your routine because they see you on a daily basis. They know, they might see somebody, I know that every morning at about 8:30, I'm going to look out my front window, except today threw me for a loop, but anyways, usually every morning at 8:30 in the morning, I will look out my front window, and this girl Renee, who's in the neighborhood, will be pulling her Jeep up and parking there at 8:30. Boom, done, like clockwork. And I know that at 4:30, 5 o'clock, she'll leave. It's routine. So
yeah, and you'll notice, if she didn't show up for a day or two, you're like, I wonder what happened.
Exactly. And that's the other thing to say. We keep hearing this over and over again on how Judy didn't know her neighbors. She didn't know her neighbors. She didn't know her neighbors. Really? So you're telling me that one individual lives across the country, another one lives, 2,000 miles away, and the other individual is 40 minutes or 20 minutes away, but they all know more than people in the immediate area. They all know more than the family knows. They all know more than the friends know.
Yeah, that's a little scary. And how much socializing, considering at the time, you stated that the Prochnows were in their 60s, and let's see, Dave and Kamel were not even 30 yet.
Nope.
So how much would they have had in common? Despite what I think Ronnie played with Judy's grandchildren.
Correct.
So I don't think there was going to be a whole lot of, hey, come over for dinner, let's have a barbecue. I just don't see it.
I'm glad that you brought up the thing about Judy and, her grandkids, because I've known something for several months now, pretty close to a year actually. When we first started, just like you, when I first heard about Judy, it was based on information from, the other group. And I'm not going to say I didn't like her, but I will say I was cautious. And I'm going to say something. Talking to Judy about when they found the bodies, and about everything else, the one thing that I heard her say and you can tell she was affected. She would say things like, there was usually a lot of people here, and then everything started slowing down, which we know they stopped talking to everybody for the most part, but it started slowing down. They didn't see as much activity, okay? But the one thing that Judy said, and she said she missed it, was hearing Ronnie outside and hearing her laughing and playing, okay? Sorry, but for somebody who is just trying to insert herself for her to say that is a natural response. You can't get more natural than that. It's just, I can't. It's just ridiculous. So.
And that's also what you have to remember is probably going through Judy's mind at 100 miles an hour when she was making that call, was thinking that this horrendous sight on the floor was that little girl
Yep, exactly.
who was laughing in the garden. And when people keep on making these spiteful, nasty digs, saying Judy doesn't know what she's talking about, the bottom line is, you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
You weren't there. So when you're saying, Judy shouldn't be saying that, Judy shouldn't be saying that, how the hell do you know what Judy should be saying or shouldn't be saying?
Yep.
So when Judy's saying that she's talking about the dog, let me put it like that, has anyone stopped to think that maybe Judy might have seen something going on with the dog in the living room whilst she was making the call that might have led her to say what she said regarding what she said?
Right.
When apparently she was jumping to conclusions and shouldn't have been making these statements. Has anyone ever stopped and thought that maybe she had seen something and thought there was a reason to warrant why she said it, rather than just trying to make out she's making stuff up?
Yep.
I thought so.
Pardon, Sheila?
Thought so.
Sheila, can you say it again?
Sheila, you're sounding very quiet, love.
Exactly, you're pretty faint. Can you speak up for a second?
It could be that her mind has blanked out what she saw.
Yeah.
She's not acknowledging what she saw.
Yep.
Because if she did actually see Paleo eating bits of bodies, obviously it's going to stay with her forever. And that's like PTSD all on its own right there.
Well,
yeah. I'm not saying that she has said this, and I'm not saying that she hasn't said this, but I don't think people should just completely discount what the woman says of hearsay.
And that's fine. None of them was there.
Exactly.
Well, the other thing is too, and I don't know why people aren't taking this into account. Okay, they're quick to criticize. Have you ever seen anybody get? And I know as I'm saying this, you guys are gonna think this. Has anybody ever seen anything bad happen to anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that when I just asked that question, not only did you remember seeing something bad, but I bet you remembered at least one of the things you've seen bad happen to somebody.
Yeah.
You instantly recall that image in your mind.
Exactly, and that every time they talk junk about Judy and this, they're making her relive what she saw.
Exactly.
And you also think to yourself, was there anything I could have done, should have done, that would have made any difference?
Oh, I'm sure that goes through, exactly. I'm sure that goes through a lot of their minds, not just Judy and Colin.
Yeah, exactly. If I'd have picked up the phone, if I'd have tapped the door, if I'd have done whatever, would they still be alive?
And I'm sure they've gone over every time they've seen him and Carmel outside and thought, was he acting strange? Was it this or was it? You always second guess yourself.
Yep. Oh, second guess? Yeah, exactly. And I bet you the biggest thing was, one of the biggest things at least was, when was the last time I saw him? When did I see that family last?
Yep.
The same thing goes with the gunshots.
Everything I should have picked up on. Did they interact normally?
Right, because holidays, speaking of the gunshots, it is very common. People shoot guns off all the time on holidays. I live in the country, so if people target shoot, they shoot at vermin, whatever. You just don't know. You don't pay a lot of attention to it. The same with firecrackers. You can expect You can hear, you know, one or two people do, and that's it. But you don't really pinpoint. Nobody looks at the clock and says, okay, I heard, you know, fireworks slash gunshots allegedly at 2:03 p.m. on, you know what I mean? It's not something you just casually, you're like, oh, might have been gunshots, might have been fireworks.
On the flip side of that, too, as well, I mean, and this is commonly known in any branch of public safety or any hospital, around the holidays between Thanksgiving and New Year's, there are more suicides that happen than during the rest of the year. It's common knowledge.
Yes, there are.
I mean, like I said, I don't think the investigation was perfect, but I think it was far from trying to cover anything up. I don't think that is even part of this.
No, and the same as Sheila had pointed out, which was a great point. We should not be privy to everything that the family and the police investigators had uncovered.
Not at all.
We will never know, and nor should we know, what exactly was all in the journals.
Yep, exactly.
What exactly went on. We don't know what their family dynamics truly were.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And
that's not something that should be public. Exactly.
We know that Ronnie was very, very upset at play school one day, but we don't know, again, what that was about.
No. And I would not want my family business put out there for everybody to critique.
Right, and that's the thing. And again, we fall back on the sense of entitlement. I want to know the answers. Well, guess what? Your last name Crowley? Your last name alone? Bye. I'm sorry to say it that way, but
it's anybody's ever going to have all the answers for, including the family.
That's what I was just going to say.
We look at it, it's a horrific thing that happened. There's no justifiable reason, rational reason to any of us.
No.
And the same to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put, you know, the emotion of that was their brother, that was their sister, it was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just no way. And to continue picking at this.
And then you want to air all of their dirty laundry in public.
All of it and then some. Even stuff they make up.
Criticize their relationship or analyze their relationship and their family's relationship and then their family's relationship with their friends and, you know, the friends, the relationship with the electricity board man, you know, because it's gone so far away from the actual Crowleys. You just need to have said the name in passing and you get checked out and potentially incriminated into this ridiculous conspiracy.
You know, I kind of wonder. We know that certain phone calls were made to certain people and, you know, people were poking into this and that. I wonder how many of these people looking into this that have actually made contact with various people have actually said, I am sorry about what happened. I am so sorry for your loss. I know I did.
I know I did.
It's a really good question. It's a really good question. I've not reached out to the family. I just never felt it was my place. The case, you know, caught my curiosity.
Well, I can,
and that was all.
I can tell you, and Louise is well aware of this, with certain people that I have talked to and made friends with, and certain people, you know, I mean, I have had somebody recently write me and tell me that, you know, thank you for everything you're doing. Not just me, okay, the entire so-called, this little group we're in, okay, the entire group, thank you. And the over a bad situation, the best thing hearing, we appreciate you, we appreciate what you're doing. Not just me, the entire group. Louise, am I kidding?
You are not kidding.
Okay, I know we can say that. I know we can say that. Can certain others?
Exactly.
Well, I think it's...
Because we try not to make people's lives any worse than what they've already been through.
Well, that was evident.
But they go around making baseless accusations at people.
Or intensifying
based on
things.
Nothing.
Yep.
You know, how many working theories that are basically just hate campaigns about so many different people and organisations, and there's not one shred of evidence to back any of it up. It's just a little bunch of small-minded people being bitter because they can't accept that somebody's
But
Definitely.
all three of you guys actually brought something up, and I mean, I'm going to bring this up as well right now again. Okay, you know, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead by any means. Okay, but this whole case, okay, by people looking into it, okay, all we've heard over and over again is David. Okay, how many people have taken into like effect or just taken it as David's not the only one that's dead here?
Exactly. What about Kamel's dreams? What about that little girl's dreams?
Exactly.
Her whole life ahead of her.
Yep.
So many things to experience.
5 years old. 5 years old.
In fact, if you think of it, these people who have been making people's lives hell have spent nearly the whole of that little girl's lifetime on this planet,
Yep.
taunting her surviving family. Way to go.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Of the three,
And not only, go ahead.
sorry, of the three of them, Renea was really the only one that you can say hand on heart for sure was 100% was murdered. Because the
Yeah.
other two you know about, it might have been a pact, we don't know. One might have done it, they might have done it both together, whatever. But she
Yeah.
really didn't have a choice about it.
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
She is the ultimate victim, and she's been exploited on a daily basis since.
Right down to having her picture thrown on a video
Yeah.
and passed around like it's a piece of candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Can I have
disagree.
it? Can I have it? Can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? And I bet half these people, or probably 75% of the people who have seen that photo, haven't even picked up a report and read it.
Well,
It's
you
disgusting.
well, you know, since you're bringing up the can I have it, Steph, I don't know if you ever saw this. I have done all kinds of things, even donated money, and I still have not seen this picture. Remember that comment?
I remember it somewhere.
Who said that?
On the Justice page, there was a woman who posted that she had wanted a copy of the photo and that she had done everything, including making donations. And she was angry because she did not get to see the photo.
Oh
Right.
dear. That's disgraceful.
I was sent the photo, never asked for it, was sent for it. It came up. Matter of fact, I've been sent it numerous times, and I can honestly say that I have never shared it, and nor will I ever.
I've never shared it.
I've never shared it. I won't have it on our group. I won't have it in the group.
No, I don't think that it should be.
Well, not only should it be shared, not only should it have been shared, but I don't know who has seen this. I'm pretty sure all of you have, but maybe not. When the video came out, okay, the second liquid nitrogen video, when that video came out, there was, here's a picture of the family, including Ronnie, put out for everybody to see again. Finally, in the beginning, it wasn't even blurred out, and I guess people either reached out to whoever or to YouTube, and suddenly, there's a black screen saying you have to be over 18, and you have to look at, you have to be, know what you're looking at beforehand, and that you what do you call it? You also have to they blurred out the video as well. Not the video, but they blurred out the picture of Ronnie. Thank God. But that still doesn't do it because you can still see she's there. But what I'm getting at is the family saw this and posted on that very video, please take this down. You guys keep putting this stuff up. Please take it down. You're affecting my family. They're literally saying you are causing us to be hurt again and again. What happened? Bye post. Here's the video.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet, we all know, it's common knowledge, that anytime anybody starts digging into their backgrounds or credentials, all hell breaks loose. Exactly. But then all of a sudden, it's
Oh, yeah.
retaliated with a vicious video.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a vicious
Double
video after
standards.
this too.
Double standards. It's fine
Right.
for us to exploit this family, put their decaying bodies all over the internet, and look over them with a fine tooth comb. But if you put anything out about myself or my family, well, I might just phone the police on you. And
Yeah.
pathetic, feeble excuses from
But
very
the Crowleys and the
feeble-minded
Allens
people.
are been subjected to this for 4
They
years.
have. They have.
Over and over and over.
I can't even imagine being any of these families. And I'm going to bring this up. As a matter of fact, let me just jump on over here real quick because I want to make sure that I'm accurate when I'm saying this.
Well, it's a bit like the stigma of domestic violence, really, isn't it? It's like there being someone who is a genuine victim, and everybody around them going, well, he seems nice enough to me. I don't think that he hit you. I think you must have done something, or you're just clumsy. Because I've not seen him do that. He wouldn't do that. He's such a nice guy.
Right. Well, remember.
Exactly.
Well, remember. What was the guy's name? Corey. I forgot the last name. From the Twin City paper.
Withdowski, was it something like?
Right.
Something,
He. What'd he say?
I do apologise. I'm not good with names.
No, I remember the first name, but he outright came out and said, and this is pretty close to an exact quote. David Crowley had a way that he wanted people to see him, and that is what he projected.
His
Okay.
public face.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, from his rehearsals with the whole shitty pen thing, about how he was going to present himself when he went to Hollywood, what he was going to say, how he was going to dress, how he was going to act.
Yep.
He struggled. He struggled with that.
Well, the other thing though is, we're talking about, Judy and the family being made, and they're being made victims again and again and again, almost on a daily basis at this point. Okay, March 3rd, okay, at 7:30 on the nose. Okay, one of the individuals. Now this is the same day, conveniently, that the very video that we're talking about right now was made. It may even be right about the same time it was actually completed. Okay, at that day and time, okay, we're talking what? We're talking 6 days from today. Okay, before today. A victim, a person directly affected by this tragedy, received a message, an instant message, okay, that we are in possession of, basically threatening / antagonizing them. The person who's pretty much getting accused of doing something responded back, waited 3 hours because they just blow them off, and responded back with simply, "You are a sick individual." But when they got this, threatening, getting told something sickens them, and all this other crap, okay? Technically, I don't know why they didn't take this. I mean, I know why, because they outright told me they don't want to draw any more attention, not to themselves, but to this. They don't want to give these people the time of day, because you know why? Any attention, including this very thing we're doing right now, any attention, they thrive off of it. Ooh, look, they're paying attention to me.
But that's the thing, isn't it? We're not actually paying attention to them.
No, it's to the
their
family.
Lies.
Well, and to the families, because the families don't deserve this.
The families don't deserve this. Judy and
No,
Crowley
they
don't
don't.
deserve
No.
this. For
But
this
they've,
to have been
they've ignored
requested-
them for years, and they can't. It doesn't matter what they do. They cannot escape being taunted, harassed, bullied, and hounded on a daily basis, constantly.
And that's not justice.
But
There's
you-
no justice in bullying, harassing, threatening, making fun of someone. That is not justice.
Well, here's
At
the
all. That's not looking for justice.
no, it's not looking for justice. I mean, and here's the other thing. Okay, each and every one of us here, I'm sure, has lost somebody, whether it be natural unnatural. We've all lost somebody. And we all know when the anniversary of what happened, comes around, we want to be able to not remember the fact that they're gone, but remember the good things, etc. Okay? And that's kind of hard to do when 2 weeks leading to that day, every day, something worse and worse and worse is coming out.
I agree.
I agree too.
They antagonize these people. Antagonize them.
Well, the grand plan has always been that they think that they can cause enough trouble to cause what they would say is the Grey State team to turn amongst themselves and turn against each other. They seriously believe if they push and push and push and push, they will cause a big enough divide amongst the alleged murderers to add on to that massive long list that was on Catherine Michelle's wall for years. Because that was one hell of a list.
Fucking wallpaper.
The bottom part of the Grey State team there.
It's all about trying to stir trouble and just
Well, that's it. It's not
put
even.
them under so much pressure that, they basically want to actually forcibly make somebody have a mental snap. Basically, that is what that to me is if you're saying want to push until they fall out and go against each other because they believe that much that there's some big secret and one of them will break. Go ahead, Sheila. Sorry, I got onto a bit of a ramble there.
The fact that they just seem to be bullying the Prochnows, there's no end to it. And I don't know if anybody noticed in the most recent video, they were slating Judy for not knowing the Crowley's house number and that they lived next door to it and they didn't know the number. I don't think the house numbers in Lansdale Drive run sequentially, directly.
No, it seems to be sort of like 4 or 5 numbers difference, doesn't it?
Yes.
It is on my street.
My street's not even street's not even close to normally numbered. I'm a single digit. The house next door to me literally jumps 20-something numbers. Literally.
Yeah. Like Judy didn't necessarily have known the number. And when you're in a panic, you just can't remember.
Well, that's the other
like
thing.
that.
No,
That's the other thing. She was in a panic. And
that's it.
Such a mean thing to pick up on. And if anything, it just proves what a state Judy was in.
Mm-hmm.
And, they just need to back off, really.
I think
Yeah, and stop as big if it was your family.
Right, and I think that Judy and Colin have both. She has extended herself and put herself out there. She's tried to the best that she can to answer questions and to be helpful. And it's just sadly had bitten her horribly.
it's not just she's tried to be helpful, but here's what it is. And it may be because she can't. It may be because I gotta tell you something. The Crowley family, if I had found something and brought that to the family and said, hey, by the way, I found this out, and they said to me, hey, do me a favor, don't bring that up. If you can, don't bring that up, please. What are you gonna do? Say, I'm gonna bring it up anyways?
Right.
Some people would.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Or try to make $1 off of
But
it.
then you wonder why they then don't want to speak to you again because they spoke to you once, you betrayed their trust,
Oh.
you turned it against them. They're not going to come back for more, are they?
By the way, because this gets thrown out there about us in general. First off, I need to say anything that we are saying, we most likely have some kind of hardcore proof of. That's number one.
Yeah.
We're not lying. And they keep saying, especially when we hit on something, okay, that basically exposes something. If you're watching this on YouTube or picking this up on a podcast or whatever, these are not monetized. Can't say that for some people, but I can tell you these are not monetized.
That's it.
Because that was pretty funny when I was pointed out that I was a government, employee. I don't even know what the hell it was, but I worked for the government, which I'd love to get a paycheck from the government because they play pretty well. But anyways, and don't watch the channel. It's monetized. And I looked at it and I literally laughed.
It's crazy.
I don't know, but I don't have any book deals. I'm not trying to shop around a documentary. It's hysterical.
Exactly.
Hysterical.
Not trying to bolster our name. Don't really want to have our faces on the internet.
I gotta be honest with you.
I most certainly don't. I just feel horrible for what is being done to her. From one person
And
to watch
the whole
another human
family
being being
and
picked on.
yeah.
Yes, I don't like it.
I mean, there is no evidence. That's the problem.
Well,
There's all these accusations flying around, but there is no evidence to support them.
it's not just the accusations though. How about this? Do everybody here remembers this? This is an outright statement. This is not directly related to this case, but this concerns this person who's related to this person. It's pretty interesting reading.
Yeah.
If that's not harassing somebody, nothing is.
No.
And what's it got to do with the case?
It's coming.
You know, what's it got to do with the case? It has nothing. He outright said it does not have anything to do with the case, but, okay? You know? And then this one, that one, the other one did it. They all did it. You know? And that's the other thing. All these people did it, but let's pick on this guy, too.
Yeah. We know who it is, and we've sent the information to the police, but now we're going to do a smear campaign on Judy Stars. Yay!
Yeah, the information that got sent to the police.
Gotta get them
alone.
numbers. Gotta get them numbers on the page and the likes on YouTube. So, what can we do this week? Wouldn't be surprised if Colin's up next.
Oh my.
Might even be one of us.
Well, I gotta tell you, you know, what people who are not, you know, people who are listening don't realize there was before this was recorded in this method, we actually were putting together a conference call, and there were individuals, I'm not gonna say who they were, but I can guarantee you, if these individuals took part in this and did actually become verbal, boy, they would have been on the hit list. No doubt
But it
about
will
it.
be coming. It's going to still be coming up. It will just be postponed. We'll have some nice little surprises coming up soon.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing, yeah, exactly.
Lots of new information will be coming out.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because I do need to just clarify, even as I am the admin of the advanced group, that I was in the justice group from the start, along with Dan and Greg, and whatever information Dan and Greg have, I had it too. So I have the knowledge. Not just a year like you, Catherine. Oh no, over 4 years. So before you quickly discount what we say, just stop and think about that.
Actually, there's got to be, I know I was looking at just part of a list the other day. There had to be at least 1,000 communications.
1,000.
Huh?
And there's plenty more to come.
I know, as you go digging more.
This is the problem when you're a hoarder. You never throw anything out.
I think I'm going to start a petition. Oh my God.
Well, I was very disappointed because I thought that there was going to actually be a genuine update on the Crowley case, and I thought that they were going to be giving all these contributors some information for what they're funding with this private investigator.
You're right.
You know, I thought that there would be some kind of time span, you know, of how long they think this is going to take. Because, I mean, you've already got all the information, all the Freedom of Information Act and all the reports, etc.
Louise,
so there's not a great deal else to be gotten, is there, really? So it shouldn't take them that long, is what I mean.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just that. I mean, you yourself read, there was a comment from one of the trio, okay, that the PI was diligently working on this case. You know, it was on one of the videos. The PI, he, so we know it's a male, no name, but it's a male, and he is diligently working on this case. Yeah. Oh, I gotta tell you, I would have put out, yep. So the private investigator is dug up, even if you're not going to mention it, which I think that's something funny too. We want you guys to all pitch in money to pay for an investigator, but we're not going to give you any information at all until the investigation's over. And then the other, go ahead.
And is it going to be, in fact, yeah, is it going to be like one of Catherine Michelle's videos? If you don't know the reference, I think it's called Telephone. That should explain it, but basically that's when somebody tells somebody something and then they tell somebody else and then they tell somebody else and then they probably tell Catherine, Dan, or Greg, and then they'll pass it on. I think that was what Catherine called telephone the other week in a video.
Yep.
I think that was the analogy down to a T, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Doesn't come from the proverbial horse's mouth.
Well, I'm wondering if if that person that was in the FBI Academy or class or something like that a while back, I wonder if they're going to be contributing to the PI.
I wonder that too.
Good point.
That's if they even went there or were qualified. But we'll do a little recap on that in the next few weeks. I'll tell you guys about that when we stop recording.
Yeah, and actually the other thing is too, we're waiting for our own FOI request. It doesn't have anything to do with the case in general. It's indirectly related, but when that comes in, that should be a pretty interesting read. And all that's for is verification purposes. So.
Yes, there's a lot of things have gone out recently. We're just waiting for some more responses to clarification.
Oh, and by the way,
and then we can present the facts from the original sources.
Yeah,
We
right.
always like to give sources, don't we, to back it up. Whether it's a study that you found on the internet, a quote, we always like to try and provide the source where possible.
Hey, Louise, there are people out there that are listening that are, like starting to question things, because we know that because that's already come out.
Yeah.
So that said, I'll say this, and if you guys want to, say similar or not say similar, if you do have information regarding this case or the investigative techniques that have been used, by all means, reach out. I'm easily reached on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to take the info from you and not disclose who you are.
And I just want to add, I think everybody needs to question everything. Question it. Do your research. Don't be lazy. Look into it. See if the fact is really a fact.
Definitely.
Just like I said, I can't find that People magazine article that states those things. I can find a People magazine article, but it doesn't state the things that were stated in the video. If it does, I have failed to find it. So I urge everybody, use your
even with things we
look
say.
things up.
Look things up, even things we say.
them up.
Double check it.
Actually,
Absolutely.
hey, so
Make
listen.
sure we're not telling you a white lie.
Actually,
we have no reason to mislead anyone.
exactly, but
The truth is the truth.
and here's the thing too, since we get constantly accused of things, this message is directly to Greg, Dan, and Catherine. Since you guys are quoting this People magazine article in all the comments, if you would kindly forward those comments to us, make sure you actually have the article attached to it. I'm sure you know the email.
Yep.
And if you don't want to send it to me, I'm sure Louise will be more than happy to receive it. And I'm sure you
I'm
have her
blocked,
email.
though.
Yeah, but
I
they can
think
still.
Greg blocked me.
Yeah, you must be
But
a distraction.
People can reach out to us. We're not trolls. You might be told that we're trolls, but I can guarantee that we are not. We're easily approachable.
I think
The only thing that I will admit, I sometimes can be a little bit short-tempered when I'm put with a blatant, stupid question. So I do apologise, because I've been 4 years on, and that's where I do try and hang fire and realise that not everybody has followed this case from the start, and people are new to looking into the case, because they've seen the documentary and various other things. So we are learning to be a little bit more patient as well. But no one's perfect.
And if you do see one document or one version of something, make sure you look close, because you may also find that same instant or the same situation out there with a whole different other ending.
Yeah. There's always two sides to every story, and the majority of people are only hearing one side of the story about who we are, how we came about, and this so-called apparent vendetta, which is them versus us, which I'm not going to stoop to that kind of mindset, because as far as I'm concerned, it's not about them and us. It's supposed to be about finding the truth of what happened and making sure the truth is the truth. It's not about going around accusing people of things and not wanting to accept that someone who we might idolise is not perfect. And they were human, and they had human flaws, and they were susceptible to everything else that any other person is. So how people could stand there and say, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that, I know they wouldn't do this. You can't say that.
Especially if you don't know them.
Exactly.
And a lot of times with suicide, it is people that we do know, and we're still shocked.
Yeah.
And didn't see it coming.
I can see that.
It's not always obvious. But I think, there are 3 people that are already dead, and I think that's enough destruction. And this search for the truth has turned into, it's just leaving people in its wake. That's not truth. That's not justice when you're hurting everyone.
That's it.
Especially
and I
people
really can't see how, if God bless David, Kamal and Ronnie, if they're looking down and seeing their family being accused of this and that.
I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they never thought that would happen. I'm sure they never thought that would happen.
I'm sure they wouldn't be resting. I'm sure they wouldn't be thinking that God was.
No, and they're definitely not resting in peace, and that's what they need to be able to do. And the family needs closure, and the family needs peace.
They need to heal. This has been 4 years of just a raw wound, and it's just constantly being picked open.
Exactly, by many people, and there's so many people that have been accused, so many individuals, so many authorities and branches of authorities, and you keep throwing these accusations out and implying things, and mud sticks, even if there's no ground to it, mud sticks, and you're ruining people's reputations based on nothing except a malicious thought.
Exactly. If there's, I understand that they're heavily convinced of their evidence, even as much as, stating it's bombshell evidence, and that's great. But take your evidence and turn it in properly and let it go from there.
Yeah.
Stephanie,
you lose credibility when your evidence that you have, if you accuse this person, but then you turn around and accuse this person, and then you accuse that person, it makes your evidence not credible anymore.
Actually, Stephanie and Louise, let me just toss this out there. You're saying bring the evidence forward and turn it in the right way. Turning in evidence, okay, because this was brought up as well. My expert, didn't want to say what they found because they would be torn apart. Torn apart on where? YouTube? How about, I got a better idea. The expert, especially when they are supposed to report what they find, the expert turns it in to the authorities and it stays off of YouTube.
Right.
Exactly.
Nobody would be the wiser. Nobody would be shredded at all because nobody would need to know.
It's the same with our resident Bugs Nona troll, who keeps saying that she has the evidence that David's innocent, but, she's got such a vendetta against us and this group that she doesn't want to share it, and she doesn't want to share it with Catherine, because she doesn't like her either.
So
she's
share it with the police. Share it with the police.
So she's got to sit on the evidence that proves that David's innocent, because she's spiteful. Well, what the hell? There's some seriously messed up people out there. That's not justice. I don't know what that is.
That isn't justice.
Maybe.
That isn't justice. If it was justice, that person would be reaching out. And if they don't trust Apple Valley, then reach out to BCA. You don't trust BCA? The FBI. That is where you can go to. Okay? This chain of command that everybody keeps talking about. Okay? The way it really works, and yes, I was in public safety. okay? And I have the documentation to prove it, okay? So, we're going to go local police department. The county covers county crimes in Minnesota, so it would go to the state. And if the state doesn't want to get involved, by the way, the county attorney you might want to reach out to, but I don't think he's going to want to hear it either. Anyways, or if you feel that there is corruption or somebody's trying to cover something up, reach out to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And for those who have been interviewed by them or went to school through them, you would know that exactly what I'm saying is the correct path to take.
Absolutely. And I just want to encourage that, take that evidence and do that. And do it confidentially. If you have evidence of a murder, it doesn't belong on YouTube.
No.
It's not the place to
Take it
get
to
a
the
crime
police. Do it for
busted.
David. Do it for Kamel. Do it for Ronnie. Don't do it for the Justice page and put it all over, the internet. Go and take it to the relevant authorities who can actually do something with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I guess we're going to wind this up.
And
Yeah.
and it, do it confidentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to put your name. If you're afraid or you don't want your name associated with it, don't put in your name. But I am going to say this before we do go. Okay, please, for the love of God, please stop accusing people that don't have anything to do with this. Don't accuse family members. Don't persecute somebody who's already a victim and make them a victim again. Better yet, put yourself in the shoes of the Crowleys or the Alams or Judy for that matter. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you want this happening to you if this was your family?
Right.
Pictures
And that's the
of
way
your
it
family
should
in a
be handled
vulnerable
and
state.
treated.
Yeah, with dignity.
I mean,
We
I'm
all have to stop and think, how would I feel if, God forbid, something happened to one of my relatives and they were in a bludgeoned, decaying state? How would I feel about that, one, being on the internet, two, people looking at it,
Exactly.
three, people thinking about it and judging, and then commenting and discussing it?
well, and then
And every
needs
time
to
I
be
put the
handled.
computer on and Google that person, the horrible images come up. Not the 28 odd years of good stuff, but
Yep.
the last few months of
Well-
weird stuff.
well,
No offense meant, strange stuff. And the decline.
And-
That is always what they are being first front memory is
exactly.
what happened at the end.
Exactly. The memory shows up, and just remember what you're posting on the internet does not go away. I mean, you saw this the other day. We went in there. We found stuff that was posted back in 2005.
Yeah.
I mean, and then
Yeah.
again, you're
Once
talking.
it's out there forever.
Yep.
And
And
that's it.
then you got to
And
also.
then the families are going to reproduce and, as time goes by. And they might want to look into their family history and they're going to see all of this.
You know what? You're right about that. There's plenty of times in school in around 3rd, 4th grade when kids are really developing. Hey, let's look up your mom and dad on the internet and do a report on your family tree. And then this pops up.
Right. And it's just not something that...
So they have to remember they're not just hurting the people who are here now. They're hurting the future as well.
Exactly.
And these kids didn't have anything to do with anything.
No,
Before we do go,
pretty devastating.
before we do go, and Louise, Sheila, and Stephanie, I mean, I just want to, and actually, to the individuals that were unable to get on, there was one individual that could not get on during this conference call for some technical issue, and for the other two people who were originally joining us and then had to leave. First off, I wanted to thank you for actually, trying to be part of this, and second off, I think I speak. There's 4 of us here, 5 of us here, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 total, and I think at one point there was like 11 of us. I think I
Yeah.
want. Okay, so I want to put this out there from all 11 of us to the Crowley family, the Alam family, to Sean, Danny, and to all David, Kamel, and Ronnie's friends. To the Apple Valley Police Department, to BCA, to everybody. We're sorry if by bringing this up here we're causing you any further pain. That's not our intention. Our intention is to actually try to stop what's going on. And we are very sorry for your loss. We're just really sorry you guys are going through this. And we want you to know that it's not us that are causing this. And we do have each and every one of your backs.
Yep.
We sure do.
So on that note, today is March the 9th. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I guess we're going to sign off. Thanks for listening. And once again, before we do sign off, if you're going to look into this case, please make sure you research. Do not take what people are handing you and saying this is what this is. If you're going to look into this case, look into it. That's how you really find the truth.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.